Hey guys, of every NHL team, what's your favorite goal horn?
The one that goes.
Hey guys, we're gonna talk about the playoffs. What an intro. So, short episode here. Look in from the NHL playoffs. Currently outside looking in. We don't have every team confirmed yet. Kind of like the NBA episode we just did. But we have the East and West. Only 3 teams clinching right now for the West, 4 from the East, but there are a lot that are really close. So, we're going to go where it's a little safer to assume who's going to make it. We're going to start with the West Coast. Currently locked in is the Dallas Stars, the Colorado Avalanche, and the Vancouver Canucks. All 3 of those teams have just beaten the shit out of anybody with a pulse this season. Vancouver was kind of a surprise.
Shout out Vancouver.
Like, they went and got Elias Lindholm less than halfway through the season. Nikita Zadorov added to that back end. Rick Tocchet behind the bench. They started doing some damage start of the season. I think they knew it was time to put up or shut up with Elias Pettersson on an expiring deal.
Yeah.
You've got to show this guy that you're committed to winning with him on your roster. And sure enough, they convinced him to sign an 8-year deal. So he is a Vancouver Canuck probably for the rest of his life. And that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, behind Vancouver in the Pacific is Edmonton with 95 points and Vegas with 92. Behind Dallas and Colorado is Winnipeg. They're sitting just outside of 100 points. I mean, the West, pretty clear cut. You have the 2 wildcard spots filled in by Nashville with 90, who after February, or like I guess in February, decided they were just going to be the best team in the NHL for some reason. They were god-awful, couldn't make a pass, and then decided after a loss to Vegas, all of them were going to go to a U2 concert. Their president, Barry Trotz, canceled all their tickets and told them to stop fucking around and figure it out. They then went on like 17-0-2. Like, it was wild.
Why U2?
It was just who was playing at the Dome in Vegas at the time. So they just got tickets and decided to go. The Dome? The Sphere? What's it called?
The Sphere.
The Sphere. Okay.
Big eyeball thing.
Yeah, that big goofy ball in the sky.
The big ball.
The
$2 billion
and then LA
project.
right behind Nashville with 1 less point, same number of games played. I mean, the West is pretty clear cut because the next team out is St. Louis, and they're 5 points back. Really don't think they're catching either Nashville or LA unless something completely off the rails happens. So it looks like the West is pretty well set. You'll have Dallas playing probably LA because I think Nashville will stay hot. Colorado, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Vegas, and then Vancouver up against probably Nashville. I like those matchups in the West. I think all of those are really entertaining, especially LA with their level of forward depth. I think they'll give Dallas a fair run for their money.
That'd be good. That'd be interesting.
Oh, yeah. Across in the East, the 4 teams that have clinched so far, 2 for the Atlantic, 2 for the Metro. The Atlantic boys are the Boston Bruins and the Florida Panthers. And in the Metro is the New York Rangers and the Carolina Hurricanes. Outside of the teams that have clinched, this is where it gets really dicey. Toronto's most likely going to clinch. They're only 4 points behind Florida, but they're also, 4 points ahead of Tampa, who is next to catch them for 3rd in the Atlantic. Pretty sure they lock up the 3 seed in the Atlantic and play Florida in the first round. That's going to suck for Leafs fans. Sorry, you're not winning that.
Nope. First round, bye-bye.
And then everyone else is at each other's throats. Philly currently holding down the 3rd seed in the Metro with 83 points, but Washington, who has the 2nd wild card, is only 1 point behind them with 2 more games left to play on the season. So more likely than not, if Philly continues to be as bad as they have been this season, or to end the season rather, they started real well, Washington's probably catching them and taking 3rd in the Metro, which then leaves a bloodbath-type race for the 2nd wildcard spot. Tampa's pretty successfully locked up the first wild card with 91 points. But then there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams within 5 points of each other. Washington currently holds the second wild card, and below them are Detroit, the Islanders, the Penguins, and the Sabres. That is terrifying.
Oh yeah.
Randomly, the Penguins came out of nowhere. They trade their top left wing that plays with Crosby his entire career to Carolina for a bunch of shit. And then randomly Crosby decides, the next 6 games I'm going to put up a casual 19 points and just put the team on my back.
He got a goal per game.
Oh, yeah, goal per game and over in assists per game. I think just under 2 assists a game.
Fucking
Like
nuts.
he's absolutely torching the league right now.
Pretty solid.
You know what?
Crosby's like
Pretty
36, don't matter. Time to run it.
Pretty decent.
Um,
Seem better.
Personally, between Washington, Detroit, the Islanders, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo, obviously I've got personal bias here. I think the Red Wings sneak their way into that
I can
second
see
wild
it.
card. I think Philly falls completely out of the playoffs because God wouldn't that just cap off the absolute dog shit of a season they're having. You're talking about a head coach who scratches their best forward and their captain for like 3 games straight.
I mean, the Red Wings also, jumping over to the Red Wings, they hold a lot of weight in what they can do in the playoff picture.
Yeah.
You got Rangers, Sabres, Caps, Penguins, Maple Leafs, and then Canadians twice. So
those 2 Canadians games at the end, I think, are going to be the turning point because those big boys in the East, you talk about the Rangers and Toronto, those games are scary, but also you could look at a Toronto team that has scratched some of their guys in favor of resting them for the playoffs. They're also without Morgan Riley and Mitch Marner at this time. I would say their goaltending's been inconsistent, but Ilya Samsonov has just leapt in front of the sun and decided to be the greatest goalie since Martin Brodeur. I don't know what the hell happened there.
Yeah. Looking at the Red Wings, you can probably only drop maybe 2 of those games.
I think you can only drop 1.
Yeah.
You look at the schedule they have, right? Rangers and Toronto's going to be close. You play Washington, you have to beat the Capitals. Absolutely have to. Penguins have to beat them. Those 2 specifically are either right ahead of us, technically right next to us because we both have 82 points, both the Caps and the Red Wings, or immediately sniffing our tail.
Mm-hmm. We can't take it. We can't take the Caps to overtime. Again,
Dude,
we need to
Can't
win.
do that again.
We need to lock it up.
and I worry because realistically, the only point scoring the Red Wings have had in the last 10-ish games have come from a very clearly injured Dylan Larkin, who's just in the lineup because without him, they're doomed.
Yeah.
Patrick Kane, and the third line for some reason. DeBrincat has been garbage. I've watched this man in the last 2 games trip over his own feet uncontested 3 times.
Well, and you go back to the Capitals game just a few weeks ago when he could have won us the game in overtime, but and then because he messed up the pass, Washington went and turned right around and scored, and the game was over.
It's
just
even
like
worse that he could have, instead of jumping behind the Washington player to try and make a move, step next to him and make a stick play. Pressure the puck. No, I'm going to go behind him and attempt to body check him even though he's twice my size. Oh no, I have fallen down.
And there's the game.
Womp,
Yep.
womp.
Like that's
Absolutely no discredit to Dylan Strome, who scored that goal, by the way.
No.
He has had a
that is
hell
also
of a season for Washington.
that is twice that I've witnessed the Red Wings just go for like it's a overtime situation. Literally one play, we just fuck it up in an offensive zone. They just skate down untouched. Like Raymond,
Oh,
we remember that
Raymond? I can't
he
discredit
tripped on himself. I'm not gonna discredit him.
I
He
love
tripped.
Razor is one of those guys that the last 20 games consistently is the hardest working player on
Oh,
the ice.
certifiably.
Razor has put himself in a position where he is leading this team as a 22-year-old. And he's like, if you're not going to follow my lead, get the fuck off the boat.
Yeah.
I'm tired. He went and fought Ben Sherrod at practice because he wasn't practicing hard enough in front of the net.
Is that what that
Raymond had
was?
an easy tip on net, turned around and two-hand slashed the guy. He's like, contest me, please, for the love of God. This Red Wings team needs to pull their shit together. I think right now they're in a position where they're starting to get their groove back. Jake Wallman is back in the lineup finally.
Gritty man.
I don't
Gritty
think Billy
man.
Husso's going to sniff the ice again for the rest of the season. Even if we do somehow sneak into the playoffs, I think Billy Husso's done for the rest of the year. I don't know what happened to him. There has been no updates from the team, nothing. They need to give Alex Lyon some support.
Yeah.
James Reimer needs to play. Of these next 5 games, he needs to play at least 2 of them.
Yeah.
It
He needs
worries me
to.
how much they're relying on Alex Lyon to just be the backstop.
He needs to perform too.
Yeah, he does. And again, not discrediting Lyon, he's been way too overworked. This is a guy who, over 7 seasons, played like 28 games. And he's played almost 35 this year. That's dumb.
Like we said, not to discredit Alex Lyon, but you can tell when he's tired. You can tell when he's on his game, and you can tell when he's tired.
Bro has been cooked the last couple weeks. And the last 3-ish games he's played, he's looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I think the last bad game he had was where the Sabres blew us out like 7-1 or 7-2, whatever it was. That game, you could tell he just had no gas in the tank and looked brutal. Stepping away from the Red Wings, the Penguins are a problem.
Yeah, they are scary right now.
One of the big pieces they got back in that Jake Gensel trade was forward Michael Bunting, who now president of the Penguins, Kyle Dubas, has experience with from his time in Toronto. He went through Arizona to acquire this guy to go play top line with Matthews and Marner. He knows exactly what Bunting is capable of. Oh, look at that. He's playing next to Crosby. Guy was getting like third-line minutes in Carolina. And now he's top line with Sidney Crosby. Goofy. And Crosby's been carrying them. Defensively, I don't think they've been as great, but their goaltending's been solid. This team screams mediocre, except right now they have the second best player in the world. Obviously, Connor McDavid. Bro's about to break 100 assists, which has only ever been done by 3 players in the history of the league. And they're 3 of the Mount Rushmore players. Crosby has stepped his game up in his later years, and I think has retaken second best in the league.
Crosby's back
He
to
looks
Crosby.
unreal. That being said, of the current teams in the East, I think the way we go about who we think is making it to the Stanley Cup final, we'll go by conference first. So we have Boston, Florida, Toronto, New York, Carolina, Philly, Tampa Bay, Washington, Detroit. We'll throw Pittsburgh in there because I don't think the Islanders are going to do anything. Of those teams, we're going to start with Zach. Who do you think is making the Stanley Cup final?
They had their heart broken last year. Won the President's Cup. I think they do it this year. I think they get to the Stanley Cup. I'm going Boston. I'm going Boston in the NBA and the NHL.
Ooh, that's a tough shout. Sam, what are you thinking?
Here's the thing. I want to go with Boston, but also I want to be a little bit different. I think the Rangers can pull it out.
I like that pick. Colby, what are you thinking?
LGRW.
Show me
Fucking
red,
asshole.
baby. I love that for you.
I'm putting it all on red.
Patty Kane is the dream
My
boat.
life savings is being put on red.
I love that. My personal pick for the East, I think, weirdly enough, because they're like one of the best teams in the East right now, not enough people pay attention to.
He's about to say
They've had their
Florida.
heart broken the last like 4 or 5 years in a row. They've got a couple of guys that need to step up their game before they hit the postseason, but with the moves they've made, I think it's finally Carolina's year.
I can see that.
I've given so much love to Carolina in my past brackets, and they've always let me down. I'm taking the
Eventually,
Hurricanes.
they're gonna make it.
Stanley Cup final.
It's like me with the
In all
Bills.
fairness, I had them losing in the conference final last year and was right. But no, I'm with the Hurricanes. That top line of Jarvis, Aho, Gensel is disgusting. As Red Wings fans, we got to see it firsthand last week. It was a massacre. They scored such a nice goal, it killed Bally Sports broadcast. Goofy. We came back. The broadcast finally cut back in to watch them score again. It was great.
On to the
Kicking
West.
out to the West. Obviously, Dallas, Colorado, Winnipeg, Vancouver, Edmonton, Vegas, Nashville, LA. Zach, who you got facing off?
Give me Colorado.
Colorado?
I'm gonna go with our rivals. I'm gonna go Colorado.
That's a bold pick, young man. That is a bold
McKinnon
pick.
I was enamored with him the one game I watched this year of Colorado, but man, he was something else to watch. So give me
Dude,
Colorado.
McKinnon is an absolute freak.
I love McKinnon. He's great.
Sam, who you got, buddy?
Yeah, I love McKinnon too.
I'm a second team.
Colby with his third sentence of the episode.
I'm a second team Canucks guy, so I really want to go with the Canucks, but here's the thing. I see the Canucks or Dallas making it.
That's fair.
I want to say the Canucks, but I'm
Dallas
also being
incoming legend Logan Stankoven. What a champion.
Dank.
Yeah, Logan
Here's the thing.
Stanky, baby.
Dallas has been the bridesmaid a couple times recently, a few times recently. So I can see them repeating it, but maybe winning it. But fuck it. Let's go to the Canucks. Let's go Canucks.
Okay. Fucking Homer. Anyway, Colby, who you got out in the West?
Is it too late to take San Jose?
You know,
It was too late after week 1.
the
They're
average
the Sharks, dude. That's kind of cool.
the average Philip Zadina fan. It might be a little late, buddy.
I'll go ahead and I'll take the Golden Knights.
Ooh.
That's a pick I think is really underrated. I
That's
like
a good
that
underrated
pick a lot
pick.
for you.
Wings
That is good.
Knights.
I think. See, I was considering the Knights because you're looking at another season straight where they have manipulated the salary cap because of their captain going on LTIR. They got Noah Hannafin, Anthony Mantha, and Tomas Hertl at the deadline. What is that?
And Mantha's been doing pretty good for.
Mantha was really good with Washington before he got dealt.
Yeah,
And now he's sliding into Vegas' system really nicely.
he's looking good there.
I mean, this is a Vegas team that made all those moves at the deadline because they weren't actively in a playoff spot. Like,
now they are.
now they're fucking third in the Pacific. No, I really like the Vegas pick. I'm going to go a little more off the board. This is a team whose identity with the exception of one season, their entire existence, even where they were located before they played here, to be either dog shit or a first-round exit. And it looked like at this offseason, they were going to completely dismantle everything, and instead, they buy out their captain, and then extend their top-line center for 8 years, extend their starting goalie for 8 years, trade their second-line center / first-line left wing to LA for 3 pieces that immediately became star contributors on this roster. People are going to look at this team going into the playoffs and expect nothing, and I think they make some noise. Give me the Winnipeg Jets.
Ooh.
I like it.
And then immediately after the season, they'll jump back to irrelevancy. But
Exactly.
they'll trick their fan base this season into thinking they're good.
Yep.
We
I like
can
it.
make it, I promise. Look what we did. We
And look
brought
at-
you this thing and then
Buy
lost.
season tickets.
Alex, I follow. So
They ain't gonna win though. They ain't gonna win.
oh no. So Zach, your Stanley Cup Finals picks are Boston and
Colorado.
Colorado. Who do you think's winning?
Give me Colorado.
I don't like that from you.
No.
Whoa.
I don't like that, and I'm a little upset, and I don't want to talk
I-
about it.
Well, it's tough. I chose two.
The average Ross Colton fan.
I chose Colorado and then
Calvin Carr looking
a
nice.
Boston team. So not much love here from Detroit, but
That's
Yeah.
fair.
I think funny enough, my prediction, I didn't mention it in the NBA one. I think Boston gets 2 teams in finals. I think they walk away with 0 chips.
Ooh,
You know what? That's hilariously Boston.
that is exactly something that Boston would do, and I like it. Vibe.
So Sam, you have the Rangers and the Canucks.
I
Who do you think's walking away with that one?
Canucks.
I want to say it. I want to say it
If you
so
say
bad.
Canucks, I'm gonna call you a schmuck.
I want to say it so bad.
Rhymed.
To save not being called
the
a
Vancouver
Canuck schmuck.
Schmucks. I broke him.
Now, I want to say fuck you now.
Yeah, that's fine.
Fuck you. Canucks are gonna win. They're not. They're not gonna. They're losing. They're losing to the
I think
Rangers.
I know who
They're getting
Colby's
swept.
going with.
Show me Stanley Cup champion Matt Rempe.
I think I know who Colby's gonna.
Show me
take.
Darcy Quimper.
Look at
Not even the same team. Anyway,
No.
hey, so Detroit Vegas, Mr. Detroit fan, who do you think's gonna win?
Look at that shit-eating smile.
That shit-eating grin might be the greatest face I've ever seen you make. I wish we had a camera.
What's up, guys? D-Boss here.
Back again from the dungeon with Lord Stanley on himself.
I will ride Detroit until there is
Hey,
nothing
yo.
to ride no more.
I don't know whether to make a joke about that or not, and I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to leave that right where it
We're
is.
gonna
The
leave
Red
it where it
Wings,
is.
man.
Oh, I get it now. Sorry, it took me a
Come
minute.
on.
That was okay.
Line
On
up
that
gutter.
LGRW from Colby.
My picks for the finals: Carolina, Winnipeg. It's definitely a matchup nobody expects to see. And with that, I'm going to take the most likely of the two, Carolina. It's going to be a wonderful story for Rod Brindamore, their head coach. Frederik Andersen, their starting goalie, who came back to play late this season after being out for like 2 seasons with blood clotting issues. It was a huge deal, him coming back. Their rookie goalie, Pyotr Kochetkov, looks great. Their young guys are coming through. The defense looks wicked, even though it's probably unsustainable to keep. This is really their last chance with this core, and I think Carolina pulls it off. Bonus, Conn Smythe winner. He's had a terrible regular season for his standards. Give me Andrei Svechnikov. He's going to show up in the postseason, score a Michigan goal in the finals. It's going to be fucking beautiful. You so excited about the Canucks you had to get up dancing? What's happening right now?
I got to pee, bro.
And with that, we're going to close out this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Whoever does end up making the playoffs, all there is to say is it will be a bloodbath of epic proportions, and I can't wait to watch every single game the moment they air. We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.